Welcome back to the, yes, aforementioned Steve Malzberg show. Well, it's going to be a tough act to follow, the Tom Hartman segment, but Daniel Greenfield, Frontpage magazine columnist, will try his best, and so will I. He joins us now. Hello, Daniel.
Hi. Good to be on.
Thank you. Good to talk to you. All right, very intriguing piece. Why Hillary will lose again. Of course, the reference to last time around in 2008 when she ran for the presidency. And, you know, you start by talking about how hardly a week goes by, especially a few weeks ago this was true, where she didn't win an award or making some kind of speech she was getting $750,000 for, and it was presented as news or similar speech, and the media is banned from going in there. So what is her strategy here, and why do you think she's going to lose?
Hillary doesn't actually have any basis. She's a weak candidate. She hasn't actually accomplished anything. You know, people are looking at Kerry now. Kerry's making mistakes, but he's going over, he's taking risks, he's doing things, and people are looking at Hillary's term as Secretary of State, and they can't find anything that she actually did. So to cover that, she has to get all these awards. She has to make herself look like she's an incredibly accomplished and important person, when really nobody can point to anything that she actually did of accomplishment.
Yeah, well, it's funny you mentioned Kerry, Daniel, because there's a story out today that says if Hillary doesn't run, John Kerry is talking about running again. So, and someone told me today that Mitt Romney is putting out feelers to see if he'd be accepted to run again. So that would be bizarre. But you're right. You document some of the awards she's actually gotten in her post-Secretary of State life, and these are awards for which she did nothing to earn them.
It's absolutely ridiculous. The Bar Association gave her an award for immense accomplishments as a lawyer. They didn't bother to actually define those. You've got the president of Georgia giving her the Order of the Golden Fleece, which has a whole different meaning around here because people still remember Whitewater. She's been honored by the National Defense University as an American patriot. She's gotten a whole bunch of awards just basically for showing up. If she says something, she says that a disease is bad, right away they give her an award for fighting the disease. Yeah,
and you're right, the Elton John Foundation, where she announced we still have a long way to go, and you're right, that's what people who have never had AIDS or treated AIDS have been saying while receiving AIDS awards since the disease first became a celebrity issue. But talk about, okay, do you think that first of all, do you foresee a primary challenge? You must, of any significance, and would that be from the left in the person of an Elizabeth Warren or someone similar? And is that who you think, from the left, someone will come and beat her in the primaries?
There's absolutely going to be a primary challenge, especially since it worked last time. If it worked last time, why not try again? Elizabeth Warren is pledging not to run,
right.
But again, do you actually believe anything Elizabeth Warren says? I don't, actually.
Well, she's an she's a Native American, isn't she?
She speaks with forked tongue. But the left absolutely wants someone to run against Hillary. They don't like her, so they're going to put somebody up. The question is how effective they're going to be. If they dig up another Obama, then she might just be toast over again, which is what she's really paranoid about.
Well, I think it'd be too soon, although he would be following virtually the same well, not the same path. Obama was never mayor, but Cory Booker, I don't think he'd be ready at that point and he wouldn't face Hillary anyway. But it's interesting. So if Hillary, do you think that? I mean, I guess it wouldn't be unless it's a general election. In other words, if Elizabeth Warren or an Elizabeth Warren-like figure showed up in the primaries, they would attack Hillary how?
Well, first of all, just to get back to that, I don't think that being ready even matters anymore. Obama was in the Senate for about 100 days before he was running, so we could very well see somebody who gets elected in 2014 and is just going to run against Hillary anyway. But the main point of attack is that really there's nothing to show for that. Hillary is an illusion. Once you actually ask her to point to any accomplishments, the whole thing collapses. So the main point of attack, again, is that a candidate running against her can stand for something while she goes on standing for nothing. And it was very effective. Obama ran to the left of her, and he beat her on just that because he actually staked out some positions. He sold out most of those positions, but he actually did stake them out. Hillary doesn't really stake out positions. She recites cliches and expects everybody to honor her because she's Hillary.
We're talking to Daniel Greenfield, the columnist for Frontpage magazine, here on the Steve Malzberg show. But let me ask you this: see, Obama is black, and he was he became the hero of the media, the darling of the media, let's say. He was allowed, to say things that would never be accused of being a sexist. Where even Ted Roll, the liberal cartoonist on this show the other week, told me that if Hillary's the nominee, then sexism will become the new racism. They'll accuse you of it every time you disagree with her. So if it's some white guy, let's say, liberal white guy who runs against Hillary in the primaries, can't we expect the media to coalesce around her and protect her the way they did Obama in 2008?
Only in the national election. In the national election, and if Hillary wins, there's going to be 8 years of nonstop accusations of sexism over everything. But in the primary, if the media, which tends to the left, doesn't stand behind her, then all the sexism stuff is not going to work. The Obama people did some very sexist stuff to Hillary back in during the primaries. It did not harm them in the least.
All right. Yeah, no, that's a good point. And finally, if it is a general election, if she does win the primary, can she still lose to a Republican candidate?
Absolutely, because, again, she's sort of like McCain. She's one of these establishment people who have been around for a while, and they just show up and they expect to be honored because they're just showing up. And if a candidate really takes on an insurgent position and really aggressively pushes an actual position, then she's going to lose because she stands for nothing.
Yeah. All right. Hey, it's a pleasure talking to you, Daniel. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me on.
Take care. My pleasure. Daniel Greenfield, ladies and gentlemen, Frontpage magazine columnist. It's going to be very, very interesting. Very, very interesting because, we're still sitting here in 2013. The election is 3 years away. Now, you start running way before then, obviously, but the nitty-gritty of it is still, 2 years away before they start, or the primaries, a little less than 2 years away. It's going to be very interesting, though, because Hillary has so much baggage, and I just wonder, I don't know how someone on the left in the Democratic primary would handle it, but I just fear that whoever it is the Republican nominee, whoever it is, if it's Hillary as the nominee on the Democratic side, they're going to run. They're going to be afraid. They're going to concede. War on women. Not going to want to criticize her. Not going to want to question her. Not going to want to bring up Benghazi because you can't criticize a woman. It's going to be a disaster. I know it. I feel it. Disaster. All right, folks. When we come back, Jack Cashel joins us. Steve Malzberg Show, Newsmax TV and radio.